Welcome back, everybody. My name's Rob Hale. We're at AWS Security Live in Philadelphia. I'm joined by my co-host, Himanshu.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. My name is Himanshu. I lead the team of our worldwide security specialists. We help customers and partners orchestrate both native AWS security as well as partner tools. Speaking of partners, we are joined here at the event by Adam. Adam, do you want to give us a quick introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Adam Marre. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer at Arctic Wolf, and really happy to be here.
Awesome. And Adam, I've personally been involved with Arctic Wolf and what you guys do, but I think for our audience, it'll be great to set the stage on what Arctic Wolf does. I know Ryan was here making some wolf sounds earlier. that was.
How much did we pay him for that, by the way?
Yes, we definitely do some howling around the office. That's for sure.
And I was convinced that is not what Arctic Wolf does, but it'll be good for our audience to know what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. So Arctic Wolf is a security operations platform solution. We deliver security objectives, security solutions, security outcomes to our customers, and we do that through our OpenXDR platform that really brings everything in, and then we have our concierge security delivery. Did I already do it?
I'm going to use this for XDR, which is extended detection and response.
That's absolutely right. So we have a managed detection and response solution. So in other words, most companies, most of our customers, most groups out there, they don't have a tools problem. They've got the security tools. But what they're trying to do is get those security outcomes out of the tools. So what Arctic Wolf does is we provide those outcomes by getting all of that information, having our managed detection and response, MDR, solution on top of that. And we have some other things, some proactive security to help them increase their security posture, and then we deliver those outcomes through our concierge security model.
Very cool. And is my understanding correct that Arctic Wolf is a managed security service provider first versus what we would consider a software solution provider? Like how much of that comes into in your day-to-day business distribution?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So unlike some other companies, this was the first objective of Arctic Wolf, was to solve this operations problem. So we didn't have another type of solution and then added this on top. This is what we do natively. It's what we did from the very beginning. We want to get those security outcomes for our customers so that they are safer, so that their customers, their vendors are safer. That's what we provide, and we do it through a concierge model. And of course, we have the technology, the platform that makes all of that possible.
Awesome. Now, I'm super excited about what Arctic Wolf are doing for customers, but actually, first of all, I want to back up a step. And I've heard some of your story about your career. Can you just take us through, how you got into cybersecurity? You're the CISO for Arctic Wolf. So, what's been your journey? Because I think that'd be super interesting for our listeners.
Sure. And my journey may be a little atypical, but I talk to a lot of security leaders, at least who are my vintage, and most of our journeys are atypical. But yeah, I started out of college. I got my dream job as a video game developer.
Wow.
So made video games at a company called Avalanche Software. They actually recently just released, they're still around, and they recently released the Hogwarts Harry Potter video game. So great studio, great place to work.
Oh, very cool.
Dream job. So you might ask, well, if you had a job making video games, why aren't you still doing that?
How do you get from gaming to cybersecurity?
Yeah,
that's the question.
It's a good question. Well, the answer is 9/11. So when that happened to the United States, and for some viewers out there and for some of the people I work with, it's a historical event. But for me, for many of us, it was a real event, and that changed what I wanted to do. So I joined the Army, became a counterintelligence agent, and then from there, I joined the FBI. And where cybersecurity comes back into it is when I joined the FBI, and I was a special agent, so I was investigating all kinds of crimes, doing counterintelligence operations for them as well. I was on the SWAT team. I became a SWAT team operator, eventually SWAT team leader. But they realized that I had a technical background. And because of that, they're like, hey, you know what a mouse is and a keyboard? All right, you're a cyber agent. So I got a ton of training with them in cybersecurity, including forensics, intrusion response, all those kinds of skills, and that's what I did with the FBI.
Wow, I've heard a little bit of that story, but it didn't involve the SWAT team, and it involved the the counterintelligence in the military. That's awesome. So, what was the kind of how long were you in each role for, and how did you then progress?
Yeah, so I did 4 years in the Army, and then I was in the FBI for 12 years, covering all of those different aspects of cybersecurity and other things. Yeah,
it's fascinating, especially the transition from video games into cyber security. Do you still apply gamification in your day-to-day role or jobs?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely gamification, especially when we talk about security awareness. And Arctic Wolf does have a security awareness offering that we integrate to make part of that, those security outcomes we deliver to our customers. But that's where a lot of the gamification is. And then we also do it in like Security Champions program when we're trying to do application security and things like that. So yes, I definitely integrate it. But I would say the thing I took away from video games that I use the most is storytelling. And as we know, especially as a security leader, storytelling is so important to try to get people to understand security concepts and get them to understand why they're important.
Absolutely. Today, Chris Betts, our CISO of AWS, who did the keynote, talked a little bit about, culture of security and how that's important. It's sort of like everybody needs to take responsibility into scaling that within the organization. And I think you, as a managed security service provider, must see a lot of trends, must see a lot of things within the customer's environments. Like, what are some of the top, key issues that our customers are dealing with right now?
Yeah, we do have enough customers now that we see just about everything that's out there. Especially if it's big, we'll see it. One of our customers will be touched by it, and we'll help defend them and help them work through it. Obviously, ransomware is still a huge, huge deal. In addition to business email compromise. But what we see as we look across those threats is that, unfortunately, the adversaries are still taking advantage of the same kinds of things they have been for years. And you can boil them down to basically patching, so keeping everything up to date, making sure it's all secure, and controlling identity. So whether it be credentials or making sure you have MFA, and those two things account for most of the successful breaches.
Wow.
In fact, only less than 4% are from those 0 days where there's no defense and nobody knows about it. That is a very, very small percentage of the successful attacks. So that's kind of a summary of what we're seeing in our latest threat report.
Right. No, yeah, it's fascinating that it's like back to the basics, like, sort of like eat your vegetables, as we say, like, as a synonym. So what are some of the offerings that your team offers? What are you seeing, like, we're helping customers obviously cover those basic fundamental things?
Well, that's exactly what our company does, because not only do we have the managed detection and response, so prevention is great, but detection is a must. You have to detect and respond to attacks. But we also have a proactive program through our managed risk offering and other things where we'll scan our customers' environments, and through that concierge model, we get to know the customer environment. So it's not just like this solution tacked on to the top of everything else. We deeply understand what our customers are dealing with. We deeply understand what their environments are, all the way down to the IP addresses and what servers they have up. And this allows us to help them say, hey, you should patch this. Hey, your identity over here, these credentials, you got to shore that up. You got to make sure that's strong. And that is what provides those outcomes. Because everybody wants that perfect panacea, that pill they take it once a day and it solves everything, and that just does not exist. It's doing those basics, that cyber hygiene, every day, day in and day out, and that's what Arctic Wolf helps deliver to our customers.
Got it.
That's really interesting, because when we talk to customers, we see a huge amount of marketing around the next flashy thing, whether it's a new acronym, whether it's zero-day attacks, or something super serious. But actually, what you're seeing is the same as what we're seeing. It's those basic security configuration errors that just sit in the background. And if you're not paying attention to those and you don't have a way of scaling that, then that's what can lead to security events. And we see that time and time again. So how do you guys help with that? Is that something that Arctic Wolf help their customers with?
As far as making sure that they're doing all the basics that they should do? Yes, absolutely. We have something that we call the security journey that our concierge security teams take the customer through. So when I say concierge, let me just explain that to you. It's specific named resources that we try to keep the same relationship with the customer for a very long time. So if you have Sally and Steve, you know it's going to be Sally and Steve for a very long time, and you build a personal relationship with them. They learn your environment, and then they can take you on the security journey, where over time they're looking at different aspects of your security, of your environment, and putting deep recommendations on what you should do. If it's shift left and do infrastructure as code and make sure that you're securing your AWS environment the way you should and not exposing S3 buckets and things like that, it could be that. If it's let's look at your credentials, great. If it's, hey, you don't know about these servers, they're just hanging out there and they have all these vulnerabilities, it could be that. This security journey is how we proactively help our customers address those things so that they're taking care of those basics.
That is something really cool. I think, like you mentioned, like concierge. My sort of like right away analogy is like personalization, which is you're actually building that relationship with the customer. It's not just like a pre-sale or a post-sales activity. It's actually building that relationship, understanding the customer deeply. That's highly valuable and like something that I'm sure like customers appreciate.
Yeah, we also have customer success managers like any company that deal with the contracts and making sure they're getting the services. These concierge security teams are only focused on getting security outcomes for their customers. And they are so passionate about it. That is what I love working at Arctic Wolf. What I love about it is I get to work with my people, security operators. We have over 800 people in our concierge security team, in our triage team, in our SOCs that help serve our customers. But not only that, all of our developers are security people. Even people in marketing know about security. I love it. I get to work with security people every day. They understand. And then we help secure Arctic Wolf. That's my job, but then provide these outcomes to our customers.
I was at a GT series racing event, a roundtable that we held with Arctic Wolf. So, a number of AWS and Arctic Wolf customers, and the feedback I got from the customers was really awesome because they were seeing Arctic Wolf as an extension to their own IT and security teams. So if they didn't have a security team, well, now they've almost got a team that knows their business and knows how to respond. But also, if they have a smaller security team and need to scale, then you guys are there to help them do that. And that was super important for their confidence in expanding and moving fast.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It is a 24/7, 365 extension of your team. How do I know this? I'm also a customer. So I have my own concierge team. I depend on the triage side of the SOC to help defend Arctic Wolf itself. And we depend on those teams every single day, and it is an awesome relationship, and it is pennies on the dollar for setting up. I've also set up around the, follow the sun, around the clock SOCs around the world for other companies that I've worked at, and it is so hard to maintain everybody and hire, and people are leaving, and you don't have to worry about any of that. Awesome. That's all taken care of for you. Yeah.
So you mentioned like the basics, right? I mean, that's what you're still seeing a lot of the ongoing trends, but we're here at this conference and big team and ask from customers now is the new transformative technology, which is generative artificial intelligence or Gen AI. Like how are we looking at that, or is that something that you're seeing from customers asking for? Like how do we secure Gen AI workloads, or how can that actually help security professionals? And how is Arctic Wolf preparing for that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. One of the things we're really seeing and we're really getting ahead of with our customers is how Gen AI is actually being used by the attackers. So not just securing what you're doing in generative AI, which everyone needs to think about and understand. The keynote today was great talking about that with AWS. But what they also need to understand is that, and I think in the short term, we're not going to see novel attacks. But what we're going to see is the old attacks supercharged with Gen AI, especially social media. Or social engineering type of attacks, where they're able to take, where maybe they might have weak language skills, not able to find just the right logo, but now they can do that. But not only things like that, they could just ask these generative AI tools to tell them about a company. Who's in charge of finance? Tell me about their CISO. Tell me about their security team. And that gives them that open source intelligence, almost as if they have an open source intelligence agency working for them. It tells them exactly who to attack. In fact, I have asked some of these tools, hey, create a phishing campaign that would trick myself, using my name. And they created a very convincing email. So those kinds of things are what are happening today, and customers need to understand that kind of thing is being leveraged. Now, there are measures that they can take to protect themselves, and that's what our concierge team can help them prepare for.
Awesome. Any examples of like where you've seen leveraging some of the generative AI technologies? I know like AWS has been offering quite some building blocks to our customers, and or like services like Amazon Bedrock. What do you see like some of that helping both partners like yourself and our customers?
Yeah, well, I mean, for what Arctic Wolf does, we ingest so much information, so much telemetry from all of our customers. There isn't a way a human being could look through all of that. So we've been using elements of machine learning, things like that, ever since the beginning, and rule sets to be able to look for this information. And now we're doing some exciting things, partnering with AWS, Bedrock, other things, announcements to come in the future. But we're really excited how AI is going to be able to power us moving forward to even provide even better security outcomes for our customers.
Yeah, that's definitely an area I think we're closely helping partners and like also looking in the industry where how can we augment, make things easier, like whether it's like automation, improve productivity, alert, or alert fatigue is something that we hear all the time, especially in your managed services offerings. We also see where partners need help with sort of like obfuscating that and distilling all of that alerts into what are some of the signals that really need to be prioritized and taken actions on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think people are really excited because this is, AI has been around for a long time, but this is the first time that the tools have been put directly in the hands of just the common people. And they're amazed by it. I think the real power is what happens under the hood. And for the example of Arctic Wolf, how we're going to be able to take all that gigantic amount of telemetry that we get and information and use that, again, to create these outcomes. And all that's going to happen under the hood, like you said, obfuscated to the customer. They don't need to know about that. All they need to know about, here's the one alert that you should be worried about. Or here's the thing we quarantined in your environment. We just want you to know about that. We did this because of what we saw. And that is where the power is going to be. Yes, the querying using natural language to create like a SQL query or something like that's great, and I'm excited about those things, but I think the real power comes when it's embedded in the product and that you as a customer, all you have to worry about is my outcomes and how I'm more secure now because I have a partner with Arctic Wolf who's using AI powered by and in partnership with AWS.
Awesome. And you mentioned the human element. I mean, like, your story itself is like a testament to applying that human element to like your career, like, like shaping your career. And your concierge model also involves a big human element. How do you see this moving forward, and like what role does it play in the security industry as a whole?
Yeah, so there's a couple things with that. One is I think there still is this drive to think that we can get humans out of the equation when it comes to security operations, and many things.
Super valuable in terms of adding context,
yes,
and experience.
And I think even powered with AI, we're never going to be able to take humans. Now we can make them much more effective at their job, and we can give them better tools, more effective tools, but humans are always going to be a part of it. And that's why our concierge model is always going to be there to help our customers, explain things to them, walk them through what's going on, and also, like you said, on the triage side of our SOC, really understand what's happening and be able to have that human element. And especially when you're taking actions like shutting down systems or quarantining them, you probably want a human in that mix to decide whether or not to push that button. So there's that human element. The other human side of it is the security awareness side. Humans have to be a part of your security equation. Not just because you got to train them to do the right thing, which you obviously need to, but also so that you can train them to be sensors. So they themselves can detect things that maybe the machines missed, or they didn't put it together, or they can't see everything, but the human can.
Yeah.
And so making sure you're training your humans, that's why we have a great managed security awareness offering to help make sure your humans are trained to detect those things and then report them right away. And
that comes down to security culture as well, which I know is a key thing at Amazon, and I absolutely know it's a key thing with you guys. But one of the key things that we talk about is that you've got to make your users, one, care about security and care about their data and their customers. And the second thing is you've got to empower them to do something about it. And if you're not doing both of those, then you're not really building that culture of security. So how do you guys help with either one of those two options?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's where, going back to that video gaming example, I really like to use storytelling because actualizing the risks in people's minds so they really understand at a visceral level, and to do that, storytelling is so powerful. So we use elements of that in all of our security awareness training videos. And so if you have the managed security awareness product, you get a video in your inbox every other week, automatically just comes in, and they're fun and they're engaging because a lot of it is storytelling. Yeah, there's quizzes and things like that too, but a lot of it is storytelling, and those stories really embed themselves in people's minds. And then it's what I use as a security leader as well. I'll stand up in front of people and use experiences from my past as an FBI agent to say, I don't want to be with you, tears running down your face because you clicked on the link and entered your credentials and you did the wrong thing. I don't want that to happen to you. And when I can tell stories like that with specific examples and exactly what happened, it's very powerful for people. Then they get passionate and go, I don't want to be that person. I want to be secure, and I want to be part of the solution for my company.
Very cool, yeah.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure having you on board, and really fascinating story around your career and also what you're doing for customers. So thank you very much for joining us. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back very shortly.
Thank you.